Aloha, friends and family. Episode 2 is here a few days early because I'm actually flying to Big Island in a few days. And I'll be there for a few days, so I won't be home at my internet connection to post my update. So, the subject of this video is going to be a job update over the past week or the past 4 or 5 days. And also, I'm going to talk a little story and connect with some of the comments from the last video. So, job update. Last time I told you what job I was working, it was farmers market Wednesday and Saturday, and I still have that job. However, I went out and applied for more jobs because I gotta get this money, and um, I ended up applying at a music store. I applied at actually two music stores, one called Bounty Music and one is called Mele Ukuleles. And I also applied at, sent a few applications to like some coffee shops because I really like hanging out at, at this one coffee shop in the morning time. It's like a great atmosphere and it's really nice in the morning time. And I also applied at Hanzawa's, which is like a small general store, grocery store, right up the street from my house. Um, I got the job at the grocery store. They love me. And I got the job at the ukulele shop. So I've already worked a few days, couple days at the grocery store right up the street. That one's really nice because it is very short drive, like 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes from my house. So that's awesome. Save on gas. Get to just cruise over to work real easy. And the ukulele store, I start working next Thursday when I get back from Big Island. So that's really fun. I've never really been in a sales position like that. Um, but I really love ukuleles. And I play guitar and I'm a musician. And it's right there in Paia town, which is like one of my favorite towns ever. So it's good. It's very exciting. That one's a little bit further of a drive. So right now I'm making $16 an hour at the farmer's market. Do a little math here. 16 an hour at the farmer's market. At the grocery store I'm making 15 an hour. And at the ukulele store, I'm gonna start at 16 an hour as well. So that's pretty good. I'm pretty stoked. I'm not gonna sit here and do a bunch of math right now and try to add up all the hours I'll be working and see what kind of money I'm gonna be making, because I just I just don't feel like doing that right now. Um, However, it's gonna be very nice. I'm gonna work those jobs consistently as much as I can for the next few weeks, and then I'll get an average for how much I can make. Um, all right, so that's pretty exciting. But now we got to talk about what we're gonna do with that money, because I know damn well, excuse my language, I am not gonna be trading my time for an hourly wage for my entire life. All right, I'm happy to humble myself in these beginning early stages of life as a young adult to trade my time for an hourly wage. Put my head down to the grindstone, get it done. Let's make this money. Right? We got to do what we got to do in our position because we don't have a huge chunk to go ahead and invest in a business or invest in some kind of investment, right? Just to be clear, I don't really know what I'm talking about. I am not a financial advisor. Here I'm clicking the pin because I'm all excited that I'm making a video. Not even looking at the camera. All right, let me stay focused here. That was the job update. Okay. Started off with one job at the beginning of this vlog. Now I got 3 jobs. Okay. So it just goes to show persistency, hard work, dedication. You just got to get out there and get it. Put yourself out there. You know? Believe in yourself. Go to the job. Like, it's work. Like, nobody really wants to do it, But if you get in there with that positive attitude and you bring the people up around you, you know, so you see somebody needs help, you know, just try your best in that work environment to stay positive, and you'll get hired by anybody. Even if you lack the skill to actually work that job, if you have the right attitude, you know, there's always a learning curve. You know, if people like your energy and your attitude in the work environment, they'll be more than happy to share with you the knowledge and give you that learning curve and give you that time. Specifically, I'm talking about, you know, the ukulele job. I've never sold an ukulele in my life, okay? But I've been playing an ukulele for years, and I'm a professional musician, okay? Meaning that, well, when I say that, I just mean, you know, I've experienced a time where I was able to pay my bills with music. Okay, that's why I refer to myself as a professional musician, because that's the way I see that. Um, okay, so that's the job update. You guys get out there and get it. Before we go into story time, I have to tell you about a major hit I just took recently. Sometimes on this journey to $1 million, you're gonna take hits, you're gonna take losses, right? And so a couple months ago, I spent $3,500 of my hard-earned dollars on a van, a vehicle, right? Um, that was, you know, I was pretty stoked on it. So I was like, okay, this vehicle locks, and you know, it's fine. Nobody can steal my stuff. And I also had a plan to rent out the van, as well as setting up a glamping site in a certain location, to rent out as a place to sleep for friends and family passing through, things like this. A rental, to rent my vehicle to people. And so there was one problem with the van. The lift gate did not have hydraulic bars, arms on it. They had broken or something, and so I bought some new ones to replace. And as I was fixing them, I had the lift gate, you know, propped up, and I was fixing this gate, and the thing slipped off, and the lift gate fell down, and a little piece of the hydraulic arm, metal arm, barely nicked the edge of the rear window, and the whole window shattered. Okay, so at that point, I'm thinking, okay, I spent $3,500 on this as an investment because I'm thinking I can generate cash flow by renting it out, selling it for higher than I bought it, or you know, setting up a glamp site for people to stay and rent for the night. But all that sort of was put on a halt because of this mistake of breaking the window. And I'm like, shoots, I just lost all that money. Um, you know, here in Hawaii, it's shipping is kind of a thing. It's very difficult to get certain items, and this particular window is out of stock. Is what I'm saying. You know, you call the auto glass companies, and you know, they look around in the shop for you, but they don't get it. They don't have it. Right? It's fine. I look on Amazon. Oh, $200. That's fine. Another $200, but oh, it's currently unavailable on Amazon. So look, that's the picture of the window. Check it out. Yeah, it's all good. But so yeah, unfortunately, you know, that was a good chunk of my money, and that just happened in this past week after I recorded the last video, like literally the next day. And so now I got 3 jobs, but I don't have a vehicle to get to those jobs. And you know what I did? I took action, right? Put myself out there, asked friends for help, did what I gotta do. And luckily, a good buddy of mine, Johnny, is leaving the island in a couple of days, and he had this old van that he was gonna sell for 2,500, but he sold it to me for 1,500, and because I didn't have a huge chunk of money like that, he let me buy it on a $500 monthly plan from a good buddy of mine. So I gave him $500 down. It was literally almost all I had in my wallet. I remember on the last video I mentioned that I had $700 in my checking, $200 in my wallet. And so I gave him $500 for that van. And I'm going to make another payment next month, uh, you know, November 11th or something like that. And then uh, the next month, I'll make another payment, and then it'll be paid off. So luckily, I have a good friend. But that means I also got to make another $500 each month to have a vehicle. And that's okay. Sometimes you just got to take a hit. So on that subject, the amount of money that I currently have in liquid cash is less than it was last week. But I have made an investment in myself. Vehicle, 2 jobs. Okay. 2 more jobs. Now I have 3 jobs total. 2 more jobs. Alright. Because the subject of this video blog, is we're going to make $1 million. So we got to start somewhere. I'm also going to be releasing other videos in other categories of subjects of life, like, you know, different spiritual concepts, and you know, later on down the road, whenever the income stream becomes a little boring, if it's like the same thing over like the course of a year or something, there's not much of a change, the videos will be like this. I'll give a quick update on the income and where the money's at, and then I'll go into a different thing, like, you know, what my diet's like, because in order to operate in this world, you need a clear mind, clean body, clean mind. Okay, that keeps you focused. It keeps you perceptive, because when the doors of your perception are kind of like got all this processed food in it, it's much harder to perceive the opportunities as they come. However, if you have a clean mind, you know, because you are what you eat. So if you eat higher energy foods, which I'll be discussing in a later video, it's likely that you will be able to perceive financial opportunities more better. Yeah. And so on to the next list. Oh, another comment that someone said was to make a list of different points to talk about to keep the video nice and flowy. All right, so I'm gonna tell a little story. Yeah, so one of my comments was saying to make a video about starting from even less than what I have now, like starting living out of a car somewhere, because right now I have a place that I live. I have a, you know, I have a little chunk of savings, but I didn't start here. You know, it's just that I just came up with the idea to make videos about it at this point. But a few months ago, I'll tell you what happened. I was in a particular scenario based on decisions and various factors of my day-to-day life, where I was sleeping on my friend's couch. I had exactly $800 left. That's all I had, $800. I had just moved back from another island, because I live on Maui, and I was living on another island, and I just moved back from there because it didn't work out for some reason over there, and I was here on Maui, just like nothing to do, no money, just loving community, which is great to have, by the way. You know, friends, but even friends. Anyway, let's stop talking about that. I had no money. Actually, $800 sleeping on a friend's couch. No job. It was bleak. You know, I didn't have nothing. You know, it wasn't like a long-term place to sleep. It was just like a few days on a friend's couch. And I'll tell you what I did from there. I picked myself up, dust myself off, got back in the game. I said, all right, I'm gonna find a car for $800. Scoured Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. Finally found something right down the road from me. It was like an old abandoned car that had been on this guy's property for like 4 months. I even saw it like a few months earlier when I visited that property. Yeah, but he just didn't want the car there. And the only problem was that it needed a new battery, but the guy didn't even know that. So I got a new battery. I spent 120 bucks on a new battery because I only had 800 bucks at this point, and the guy let me buy it for 600 because it was in such rough shape. This thing was a beater, crooked hood, busted window. The thing was dirty, no locks. Speedometer doesn't work. There's no gas. It was a Maui cruiser. It was a cruiser. Okay, they call them hoopties where I come from. All right, this thing was rolling low, boom 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 boom. And so I bought this car for 600 bucks, and then I was able to get to my job, which at the time was at a hardware store. I like started working at a hardware store, and then I started working at this little convenience store, and that was kind of like minimum wage, like $11 an hour or something. That's like the lowest. And so I was just working every single day, grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding, and it was pretty hard. But eventually, uh, my girlfriend actually, she she sent me this job link, and I called the guy, and it was for a zip line tour guide, which is like pretty sweet. It's like you take families and visitors, you take them on these zip lines. There's like 8 lines, and it's in this beautiful valley. It's great. I was making 25 bucks an hour, plus I was making like um, a couple $100 a day in tips, like $100 to $200 a day in tips. So I worked 2 days a week at that job, and I made 1,200 bucks a month just working 2 days a week. I wanted to pick up more days. However, I only worked 2 days at that job a week, and I made a bunch of money from it, which I then put into Bitcoin, of course, long-term savings. And I also found a job at the farmer's market. That's when I found my farmer's market job, because I was struggling. I was like, I got to do something that's righteous, okay? And I'm just giving this example. I feel like it's kind of convoluted at this point, but you can be living in your car, well, with no car. You can be sleeping on a couch for a few nights, then get a car for $600 that is a damn hoopty. Doesn't even, it ain't nice. You can sleep in your car, sleep on friends' couches. You can be struggling, no money, but you know what you can do? You can get up, you can dust yourself off, and you can go get that job, right? You can go trade your precious time for an hourly wage if you really put your mind to it. It's not a long-term solution, okay? I'm not going to be working a minimum wage hourly job when I'm between the ages of 35 to 50. I'm not doing that, right? But for now, I'm 25. I'm a young man. I got the energy. I'm gonna sleep in my car. I'm gonna go to that minimum wage job, all right? But anyways, so I actually moved into a place at the farm that I was working at. And that was a good deal. It was a requirement of 40 hours that I was getting paid $16 an hour for, and then I paid $700 for rent. So that was great. I saved up some money from that, and I saved up some money from my zipline job, until eventually I um, I lost interest in the zipline job because I didn't want to be dealing with tourists all day. It kind of felt weird. I couldn't. It just didn't feel right at one point, and I ended up losing that job. Um, you know, because I got fired. I'll say it. I'm a little embarrassed. I stayed up too late jamming music, and you know, I called in sick one time, and I guess I was too early on as an employee. Like, didn't have seniority. I didn't work there for years, and you know, I didn't have enough uh, ability to be able to take time off, and I took time off when it was the wrong time to take time off. So what I learned from that is, if you're new to a job that makes you a lot of money and you like it, you should focus on that. If the goal is to acquire income, you should not let your emotions get in the way. All right. However, there is something to be said about, like, not surrendering, you know, like not selling your soul for money. Like, of course, don't do anything that's going to be like horrendous upon your soul. You can't sleep at night just for money. Like, definitely don't do that. Because yeah, it's not good. And so with that money, um, okay, I'll continue the story. At that point, I moved out of the farmhouse, and I moved into, me and my girlfriend moved in together. Okay, and that really helped us financially, both of us, because at that point we could split the rent, and you know, I didn't have to continue working 40 hours at the farm, which was breaking my back. You know, I love farm work, but this specific kind was just, my back was dying. 40 hours of like 100, 80-pound crates. It's just, it's just hard. And so, but I need to keep that farm job because I love the farm job. So I do 2 days a week on the farm, and now I got a job at a ukulele store. I'm gonna sell ukuleles, and I'm also working at the general store up the road, which is nice too. It's humble, and this is very exciting. So don't let your ego get in the way of you and that money, because sometimes you just gotta humble up and put your nose in that grindstone. You gotta go get a job at a general store. You gotta work minimum wage a couple days a week. Whatever you gotta do. You know, especially as young people, young person like myself, 25 years old, young man. I got energy. I don't got kids. I got energy and time. And also, I want to get into something else. This is going to be a long video. You can trade your time for an hourly wage at a job. And you can also trade your time to educate yourself about various things in life. And I've been meeting with a group called Renatus, which is like a real estate training agency. A good friend of mine was sitting at the coffee shop, and I said, "Hey man, I'm really trying to obtain financial freedom for myself and my family." And he said, "You know what, Bob, I'm on the same track. I want to invite you to this Zoom call that I'm going into in a couple hours." And so I went to the Zoom call. I learned a whole bunch about real estate. Heard some big wigs talking some big numbers, and it inspired me. And it made me feel like maybe I can do something, right? And so he invited me to more meetings. We went to a meeting Wednesday evening. It was great. So that's a good thing. I've been spending my time educating, my free time, where I'm not busting it for minimum wage. I'm spending my free time educating myself, whether that be about how to invest in real estate, how to invest in cryptocurrencies, how to, business ideas, discussing things specifically with people who know more about it than you do, and being humble enough to receive what they're saying without pretending like you know what you're talking about. Because, like, I'm not going to take financial advice from a person who doesn't have any money. like this person the other day was literally trying to tell me all about financial advice. And I'm like, "Are you a millionaire?" And they said no. In fact, I'm struggling to pay my rent. And I'm like, all right. I'm happy to be discussing things with you. However, you are not my financial advisor. Okay. And so that's why I've been seeking the advice of people who have money and who have been very successful in business. There's lots of stuff on YouTube that I've been listening to. You know, learning about credit scores. I got my first credit card. You know, I learned how to build my credit score. You know, my credit score is 663 right now, which is great for me, not even having one, you know, 3 months ago. Um, things are looking up. Things are looking up. And forgive me if I'm a little scattered. I still am unsure about how to really do these video vlogs and stuff. Let's see what else I have on here. Oh, I want to give you a little thoughts about food stamps. Yeah. So I have food stamps right now, and I was really grateful for it when I first got on it, and I'm still very grateful for it. However, I'm starting to realize that over the years that I've been on food stamps, a couple years, I've become more complacent because if I no longer have to work to feed myself, really, then it makes one more inclined to just sit on the beach all day and play ukulele, which isn't a problem. You know, I don't believe that anybody should have to pay for food, right? If it was up to me, every single human, you know, would have an EBT card, right? Uh, if we're talking about like just ease and abundance for healthy food, but unfortunately, um, I feel a bit lazy, and so I think after this couple months, because you know you have to refill your food stamps every 6 months, and I think when the next refill date comes, I'm contemplating just stopping it and saying that I don't need it anymore, as an act of believing in myself to get off of the dependence upon welfare for survival, being complacent and stuck in that poverty mind state. All right, that I've been put in. Yeah. So, I may or may not do that. It might be smarter to stay on it, just so that I don't have to spend my hard-earned money on food. Um, you know, I want to be smart as well. You know, I don't want to take too much pride in myself. Oh, I don't need food stamps. You know, I'm too good for that. No, like I might actually still need them. You know, but we'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens. And there was another thing I wanted to talk about. Let me just double check the comments section on the last video. Okay. Episode 1. Scroll back into these comments here. Oh, some people said get a TikTok. I don't know about that. I kind of just feel pretty comfortable. Oh, my mom said to write down everything I spend money on. That's a great idea, Mom. I'm going to do that. Oh, another person said, I don't have much money in my bank account, but I have a lot of love in my bank account. Okay, that's what I got. But unfortunately, that ain't gonna pay the bills. I'm just kidding. No, it could theoretically. It could do anything. Love can do anything. Um, so, all right. I keep clicking the pin. Sorry about that, Johnny. Um, oh yeah. So that's the job update as well as talk story. The video was a lot longer than I anticipated. You know, for those of you who stuck it out to the end without getting too bored, I love you. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna be moving over to YouTube. Um, just because I feel like, you know, the Facebook friends list limit is 5,000, and I'm almost at 5,000, and I want to be engaging with a large audience. I'm gonna continue posting on Facebook. However, I'm gonna also be posting on YouTube, so that, you know, if it so happens that I acquire a larger audience and need to be reaching more people, I will be able to do so without the limit of 5,000 friends. Other than that, things are good. I want to talk about investment strategies. So, with my money that I make from these jobs, I'm going to be, first off, paying the rent. Second off is paying off this vehicle that I just bought. I'm still $1,000 in the hole on that. So $700 for rent this month, $500 for the car. That's $1,200. So I'm gonna make that money from my jobs that I have, pay it, and then what's left over, I'm gonna put half of it into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Okay? And I'll tell you the reason why in the next episode. Hare Krishna, Haribo. Much love, you guys. And still learning how to make videos here. So I understand this might be a little too long of a video for most people to remain attentive to. Because these days, with TikTok, people's attention span is so short. It's unbelievable. So for those of you who stuck it out 31 minutes with me, praise the Lord. Okay? Thank you. You're my people. And if you didn't, it's totally fine, because I completely understand. You know, if I was scrolling through Facebook and somebody put a 30-minute long video of themselves talking about, talking about their income and whatever, bullshit, I may or may not even click on it at all. So I completely understand. If those of you who don't make it to this part of the video, I love you anyways, and maybe I'll see you out in the real world sometimes. I'm going to Big Island for a few days. I'll be back on Wednesday, post another video next weekend. The funny thing is, I had a lot of good ideas for posting a video a few days ago, but I didn't make it a video because I was like, oh, I'll have the ideas when the day comes to post the video. But then today came, and I'm like, I don't even feel like making a video. I don't even feel like making this video right now. But I did feel like making it a few days ago, so maybe I'll make the video. Anyways, it's getting a little confusing right now. I'm gonna gather myself and come back next week. So thanks for listening to the update. I'll let you know how much money I'm making next week.